is Pastor Rock.
Oh, we are back. This is Pastor Rock for our part 2 of our first episode of 2026, which means it's the time of year to get wrapped up on the NFL's regular season. Now we're on week 18. I'm sure in a few years we'll have to wait till week 20 to do this, but
week 25 at least.
Now here we are at week 18, and everyone's played their 17 games, and we can get ready for the playoffs. So without any further ado, C's, what you got on the NFL?
Oh my goodness, gentlemen, this is one of the best times of the year for some content from the NFL. Listen, at the conclusion of each season, there is no less than maybe 5 NFL head coaching job openings. And this offseason now we have
Monday.
7, right? We have 7 Black Monday. Extends now to Tuesday and Wednesday even. Because, guys, 7 teams, 7 new coaches, 7 new competitors potentially for the Head Coach Fight Club. And so we're going to kick things off with one of the winners, 2 of the winners, actually, of the Head Coach Fight Club. Because we gotta acknowledge how well they did in that arena and how bad they've done in the actual head coaching part of their job. And that is Pete Carroll and Raheem Morris, Raiders and Falcons former head coaches, respectively, are ousted. Pete Carroll, after one awful, disastrous season, some of the most inept football you have ever seen played.
Did he do what he was hired to do?
He did not. I don't think. Don't think. I'm pretty sure, actually. Tom Brady's kind of insane and definitely wanted a winner.
What he was hired to do.
He was definitely. I don't think if Tom Brady wanted a coach that would lead a tank, he could have just hired any schmohawk off the street.
What do you know about the power dynamic of the Raiders structure? Because Tom Brady's getting more.
My understanding of that whole operation is that Tom Brady has a huge influence over Mark Davis, right? Like Mark Davis looks at Tom Brady, he's like, "You're a winner, you've won. Tell me what you think we should do." And Tom Brady tells him, Tom Brady, it was his idea to bring in Pete Carroll because he had respect for Pete Carroll, right?
At least Tom is actively following the game. We know this, so that is.
I do believe that he actually wants to do well at the job
to the point where he actually has insider information that people have to deal with.
Yeah. Now here's the thing: a lot of this was a failure from almost day one of when Pete Carroll put his staff together, because he goes and gets Chip Kelly as his offensive coordinator. Guy was a bum in the NFL as an offensive mind after his first season. Next thing up, nepotism. The offensive line, the running game, and the quarterback's positions were coached by his sons. I didn't realize Pete Carroll had sons. I learned that earlier today. And I'm like, you know what?
Pete Carroll, that's such a funny way. Dude, are you telling me that in any serious, this sounds like a setup job. This sounds like Tom Brady put a plan in so that he could get more power.
Maybe,
but I feel like he would get more power if this actually worked, because this was
maybe.
What do you mean?
His guy.
We're hearing about path. So he's laying the path for the reunion to get Bill back with him.
So Pete Carroll was all 100% Tom. This was his full sell, is what you're saying.
I mean, from what I could even go back and look at stories from the offseason, Tom Brady had a huge hand in this.
It feels too easy that Pete Carroll, the old guy who randomly came out of retirement to come take the worst job in football, is almost.
To be fair, it was a forced retirement. Like that, it wasn't his decision. It was the Seahawks. Like, hey, man, you can retire or you can get fired, whichever one you want to go out on.
But they were right, and that's the point. So this is the issue is for Pete Carroll. But good for him. Incredible career. Hall of Fame. One of the few to ever do the only guy, right? No.
He's one of 3 to do national championships and
what are the
Super Bowl? Because you got Jimmy. Jimmy's the other one.
Jimmy does.
And Barry Switzer.
You're right.
The star is always represented on the show, one way or the other.
Oh, Barry Switzer. it's like, I think if you go back in time and tell somebody that, like, hey man, this move is about to encompass the next 30 years of your franchise, and it's going to basically, you can summarize everything just in the Jimmy fired, Barry hired dynamic, and how Barry handled it, how it all went down.
Yeah.
It's all Rowdy's
yeah.
fault.
Yeah.
At least Barry won. Barry's a winner.
Barry technically won. He did technically win a Super Bowl.
That's how I feel about Nick Sirianni. He did technically win. He does technically win. But back to the guys who didn't win, right? And that's these head coaches. So you have Pete Carroll ousted after one disastrous season. Raheem Morris, after the end of the year, right? His players all kind of stood up for him. They, went to bat for the guy, and they wanted him back. But it was clear that Arthur Blank was incredibly angry with how the season went, because not only did Raheem Morris get fired, so did Terry Fontenot.
Yeah, but are we certain he wasn't just mad that they lost their head coach Fight Club supremacy?
We don't know that for sure, right? We don't know that for sure.
Raheem Morris fired.
We did.
Maybe he heard it through the grapevine.
This is real.
This one might happen. But listen, not only that, but the president of football operations, who's not the general manager, also fired by Arthur Smith. So he's cleaning house, top to bottom, in that in
is
that
Matt
office.
Ryan official, or is that still just?
I've heard
rumor?
I think that's the rumor. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen. It'll be interesting to hire a guy who's just been in the media and doesn't really have as much access to.
But he played good once.
Yeah, he's the best quarterback in their franchise history.
We are now seeing what used to be quarterbacks would turn into offensive coordinators and head coaches. Now they're just skipping into ops.
They're doing the whole
Ryan.
John Elway thing, right? They're just going straight to the front office.
It's something that the NFL does in particularly well that probably isn't a great thing unless
I think it might be. It's becoming more common in most sports, I think, to have like former players in these jobs that used to be.
Then it becomes this weird debate that people don't really seem to follow a through line on who's capable of doing what.
Yeah.
You kind of end up stereotyping who can be capable of doing what. It's kind of like why it took so long, for people like Randall Cunningham to be starting quarterbacks when there was obviously a lot of talent. So it's one of those things. I'm
just more positing that it's probably better overall to have people who know the game of football versus guys who are just like business guys running the money side.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would tend to agree. So we'll see if
doesn't always
Arthur Blank does hire him and what that means. It'll be interesting because I look at that Falcons job, and it's not a terrible job to take. It's not the best because Terry Fontenot did do some gross mismanagement of the roster, or rather resources that connect to the roster, right?
Did he pay Kirk Cousins?
He paid Kirk Cousins. He took
they got draft picks missing
Michael
because
Penix.
of them.
He did trade a first-round pick to move up in the draft for oh my god, I forgot his name. But they spent a lot of resources on some positions where you're like, you didn't have to do all that, but you did. So anyway, I look at it.
But they have the job.
You have good pieces on the defense. You have good pieces on the offense. There's something to work with there. So we'll see what happens there. All right, and now let's get right to the big. Should we save the biggest firing for last, or should we go right into it and just work our way down?
Whichever. How many there were? Yeah, there were a lot of firings, weren't there?
Yeah. So we'll go with the irrelevance, and then we'll finish.
I think that's good.
Last.
That's good.
So, speaking of irrelevant, the Arizona Cardinals, historically one of the worst franchises in the entire football.
I saw this story and I said, I didn't know that was their coach.
Jonathan Gannon fired, right? And listen, he was awful. He was an awful hire to begin with. He's awful at his fucking job. He's an idiot. He's a spineless coward and a jackass, and he got exactly what was coming to him.
So, Kyler Murray's
probably on the
goes.
He's done.
He's done there
this whole year.
I think they're cleaning the house in Arizona.
Yeah, but I mean, I mean, new guy, fresh eyes. I just wonder if this is the only way that he maybe
Well,
stays.
Listen, the way that he stays, if the incoming coach is an offensive mind who wants mobile quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Right.
he's probably going to be out. They do have I believe they have the 3rd overall pick. They
Yeah,
should be in a good
Like,
spot to take a
even
quarterback.
if you do get a coach who wants a mobile quarterback, you can go
Ooh.
get one for a lot cheaper than.
Patrick,
Well, there's
Patrick,
not
you have to
there's
be a
not that
Rams
many
fan
in this
now.
year's draft.
You have to be a
folks.
Rams fan now, because if Stafford wins, goes out on top like his old buddy. Hey, by the way, did you know they played with each other back in?
Oh, Kershaw.
And if Stafford does that, then retires, which maybe he doesn't, but if he wins it and retires, then Kyler Murray definitely goes to the Rams, right? So that's like the one universe where Kyler Murray isn't a Viking, right?
Okay.
Well, you know,
Possible.
like that feels very possible to me.
I don't
There's a
think
lot.
so.
Just as a little insurance to 9 if he does bust.
I don't think
Okay.
KOC. Well, maybe as a backup. Okay, that's fair.
I
As a
don't
backup,
know.
I can see that. Yeah.
And then
I
it's just
don't-
like,
I
all
don't
right, you get
think it'd be
the, but it's
I
like
don't-
it's a
I don't think
backup, but it's
I don't think
like
that's the plan they're going because he probably is going to go get paid to be a starter by some other dumb team. But
Jets.
who knows? Maybe the Raiders.
Dolphins, maybe.
Maybe the Raiders are like, we drafted a quarterback.
Nice.
We wanted.
I'm actually really excited that there's this many people involved in the Kyler Murray sweepstakes. This is going to make this offseason much fun.
It'll be there is a lot of interesting landing spots because there's like, oh hey, this would be a disaster. Just right day one, you can tell this would be bad. And then there's some
No
other
identity
spots
football
where
in
you're
this.
like, this could actually maybe work out because
Put him-
everything is in place for it
Put him
to
East
work out.
Rutherford in the green for the Jets and just let him go.
That's a disaster waiting to happen, and
These
that'll be
little
funny.
Giants.
No, they already have a quarterback.
True.
Stuff, man.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, a defensive-minded head coach, by the way. That
Where's Cliff
defense got
Kingsbury?
worse every year. They went from 30, or no. Yeah, they went from like, I believe, 30th in EPA to 32nd by the time of his firing, right? This went 30, 31, 32. So they kept getting worse under him because he sucks. He shouldn't be a coach in the NFL. I'm just going to slander that man anytime I get a chance. All right. Then you have the Cleveland Browns fired Kevin Stefanski, y'all. I don't think that one was that surprising. What is surprising, and I don't think a lot of people think about this, Kevin Stefanski is going to be a sought-after head coach for this reason. Despite the fact that he ends his tenure with a losing record in Cleveland, he also has 2 Coach of the Year awards,
I mean, it's also
In Cleveland.
he's the best coach they've ever had.
and which
This
says a
is- in
lot
this
about how
generation,
bad
yeah.
that franchise is, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe I wanted him to be the Vikings coach. I was upset they didn't move on from Zimmer earlier, so I was a little bit upset whenever we let him go. I mean, I'm happy with KOC now, but I still think Stefanski in a competent organization might be a decent coach.
Yeah,
It is difficult to say
threw
because
Sean
their
Watson
offense was
at that
so
guy.
bad, but then their team was ran so poorly. So
And then,
it's-
although I don't know enough about the Baker decision, how much of that might have been him or not, but I feel like they should have kept him. But anyways,
Yeah. But yeah, he's gone. It'll be interesting to see where his landing spot is.
and he's got to be
Honestly-
number 2, right, on most people's lists.
He's probably going to be the second most sought after coach. But we'll get to that. So we
Because
have
there's an interesting other one who could maybe be more sought after, who might be being replaced.
yeah, and you know what? He might be taking that guy's spot for all we know.
and there's
The
still
New
gonna
York,
be coaches fired after the playoffs, right?
yes, I think so. We'll see.
I don't know who in the playoffs right now would fire their coach this year.
Tomlin, maybe
You know,
Maybe.
well, there could be a parting of ways.
they,
Yeah.
they, there could be a parting of ways, but not like a
I
true
guess
firing.
San Francisco could also do it. McVay could also
Yeah.
just up and retire.
McVay
Yeah, there
up
could be
and
parting of
retired.
ways.
San Francisco gets tired of Shanahan failing.
I just don't know if they
I was just
will,
thinking, there's
though.
just so many
I wouldn't
newer
think they
teams
would,
in
but
the
yeah.
playoffs this year that most of them.
I could
probably
see
fire
Shanahan
him.
walking away. I couldn't see them firing him.
Shanahan takes.
I mean, if they get
Titans
embarrassed
job.
in the first round or something, who knows?
They're playing the Eagles. They're not going to get embarrassed. It's going to be an ugly 10-3 game.
That's part of the embarrassment.
Oh, it's Niners Eagles to start. Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll get to that in the preview.
The season hateful.
Oh God, I'm gonna be so miserable watching that game. The New York Giants and the Tennessee Titans had their
I
firings
should
earlier
tell
in the
you,
year.
before I bought you your Philadelphia Eagles suck book, I was trying to find like a really good 49ers history book for you.
Oh, trust me.
I just wanted
know.
something that specifically like was titled something like the greatest team or something like that, but they didn't have anything. So,
Oh
What's
man,
that surprising?
it would have been either that or like a Patriots, like a early 2000s Patriots would have really pissed me off.
McNabb puking.
Yeah, and like McNabb puking in the middle of the field, or in the huddle rather.
I can't shit on McNabb. He's a Viking.
No, you can shit on him. He was bad on the Vikings. Oh, but that was end of career McNabb, which was rough to watch. But yeah, the Giants and Titans had already gotten their head coaches, had them fired earlier in the year, so we knew about those going into the day. Now, there is the potential that the Miami Dolphins fire their head coach, Mike McDaniel, if they follow through on somebody who just got fired yesterday, and that was John Harbaugh, fired on January 6th. All right, what a great day for residents of Baltimore, and maybe a great day for other people in the DMV area, but for other reasons.
I think it's pretty
not tied to this
for fans of the Ravens.
Right? And anyway, so John Harbaugh fired, goes 8-9, and listen, you've heard me talk ad nauseum about how this guy just chokes in the fourth quarter, right? And how he's probably going to get fired he's going to get fired, like he should have been fired. And the Baltimore Ravens saw it. Now, apparently, one thing that was reported on by Diana Rossini of The Athletic was one of the more contentious parts of him keeping his job was him having to fire people on his coordinators on the staff. Todd Monken specifically was named in the report. I don't know if Zach Orr was or wasn't reported in that, but I assume that it was like kind of a package deal. Get rid of your coordinators and let Eric DeCosta, the GM of the Baltimore Ravens, select the coordinators, which is a weird move by him and the Ravens organization. They've not historically done that.
Basically them saying, get the fuck out.
It was like, hey, if you want to keep this job, you're going to let us tell you how to construct your stuff.
You're going to be a face, and that's it.
Pretty much. And listen, that works for the Eagles, doesn't work for everybody else, right? And Eric DeCosta, he hasn't exactly been great at roster management the last couple of years either. So John Harbaugh and the Ravens, it makes sense that they parted ways. And now you look at it, and he is the number one head coach on the market, right? Just based on his long-term success in Baltimore. The Miami Dolphins apparently have checked in with John Harbaugh. They have a head coach right now. And he is going to be the first domino that shapes everything else, at least when it comes to the Dolphins potentially. You have Atlanta. And then, everything else around that will follow. Kevin Stefanski might be the next head coach for the Baltimore Ravens. That would be interesting. Staying in the division.
What if they just swap?
Well, it's too late now. I think both contracts have been terminated. So
no, I know, but that's just Harbaugh goes to the Browns and then Stefanski goes to the Ravens.
There would be something oddly poetic about that, considering the history of both franchises. With the Ravens being the original Browns and the Browns being a replacement.
I need Harbaugh to go to Vegas. Then McCarthy can go and join Stefanski in the AFC North because McCarthy belongs in the AFC North.
No, I need McCarthy to be a head coach because I don't know. It just seems so fun.
He can have the Browns or the Ravens.
I don't mean to be mean.
He'll probably get the Giants job, but he can either have the Browns or Ravens. That's where I think he belongs.
You think McCarthy's the Giants coach if they get turned down a bunch?
They've already been talking to him, haven't they?
No, I know they have, but I mean, obviously they're going to be like Stefanski.
I don't know,
hard balls.
They might want a guy who's got at least a ring. And
what about
here's
Robert Saleh?
Here's the listed reported interviews. So for the Giants, right? You have McCarthy. Right now, they've asked to interview Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator for the Broncos.
Me.
Colts defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo. Offensive coordinator for the Seahawks, Clint Kubiak. And then, of course, they have scheduled an interview with Mike McCarthy. They are set to schedule to interview Stefanski on the 7th. So McCarthy's interview is scheduled for the 13th.
Interesting.
It's interesting how that's all set up.
When is Jason Garrett meeting with the Titans?
No, let me see if that's listed on here. It is listed on here somewhere.
That's really what I'm rooting for more than anything at this point. And you can't convince me otherwise.
Actually, it's not listed. So I'm on NBC Sports.
Cam Ward.
So here's what the Titans have, right?
Can't wait for Garrett to win a Super Bowl for the Titans and Jerry to tell you that that's basically a Cowboys Super Bowl.
If Jason Garrett wins a Super Bowl with the Tennessee Titans, brother, that man everyone's gonna call him the greatest coach of all time. Everything's changing about the way that people talk about Jason Garrett. Jerry's a footnote in that story.
Right.
But I believed in him. I did and I do.
Yeah, I don't see a date for Jason Garrett's interview or requested interview. Maybe it's already happened for all we know.
I feel like they do you think his buddies at NBC just floated that one for him?
Well, it's funny because I'm on the NBC Sports website. It's not telling me when he was requested for
exactly. Are they the ones that are reporting it?
Maybe.
Yeah, they don't want to self-report.
Yeah, but just look at some of these names, though, guys. This is not an inspired list of head coaches. There's always going to be somebody who gets hired that you just never heard of, and it's possibly going to happen. Maybe for the Titans or the Raiders, right? But I don't know. But yeah, listen.
15 first-round picks.
With these firings, though, of head coaches, that also means coordinators are getting fired. So before that, before we talk about the fired coordinators of these fired staffs, let's talk about fired coordinators from still active staffs. We're going to start off with the commies, because the commies, fellas, they just took out both of their coordinators. Now, one was a firing of the defensive coordinator, and the other one was a mutual parting of ways of everyone's favorite coach that wears sunglasses, and they love to just mention how he had lunch with Sean McVay one time. Cliff Kingsbury, he is a free agent coach.
That's where he went.
That's right. He was the offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders.
And it's not to be too understated on the DC either. That's Joe Witt, which is who most people thought the Cowboys would retain whenever his name? Yeah, when Quinn left, and then Witt decided ultimately to leave.
Not a great referendum on Quinn's job so far that he's having to.
But I mean, what was he going to do?
Refresh both coordinators.
Dan Quinn was a bad hire to begin with, and I'll die on that one. But hey, it's the Commanders. They're not a functional franchise, and they don't make functional franchise moves. Releasing two coordinators, right, a year after you made it to the NFC Championship game is insane. Now, granted, I don't think Cliff Kingsbury was a good hire, an offensive coordinator. I thought his offenses get real stagnant real quick.
I can see why they might have thought 1 year of that with Jaden Daniels could provide like a bang in theory, but I wouldn't have thought a long term.
It did sort of, but that offense it didn't really protect Jaden Daniels very much, and we saw that this year. And then Joe Witt. Listen, I think Joe Witt might still be a good coach. He was dealt one of the oldest defenses in the NFL. Like, there's only so much that you can do with little talent like this team has. This is a team that shouldn't have gone 12-5 that 1 year, gone to the NFC Championship game. They struck lightning in a bottle with a bad roster. That's just what it is. It was a bad roster. It's still a bad roster, and they need to bottom out before they can really, really maintain any form of success. So, yeah, those coordinators are out and free agents now. Free to go wherever. And, hey, Joe Witt Jr., you mentioned it, potential Cowboy was rumored, right, to be the defensive coordinator. Well, you know who's no longer a defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys? It's Eberflus. Bethke, you can rejoice that he is gone. I don't know what they're going to replace him with to either sour your mood or
more than
make
just
you feel really
that needs to be replaced in that situation. But yeah,
Hey, at least there's one bright spot, right?
I mean, obviously he was set up to fail with the roster, so I'm not gonna not point out that aspect.
Trading away the best player on the team on your side of the ball is not fun. But he didn't really adjust at all. He had a whole year to adjust to that.
Ultimately, and then there was so much. Oh my god, bro! There was so much negativity, and it came from every angle. Like the only thing I think I've seen this many people agree on that isn't the whole GM question for the team was this coordinator, bro. The players were visibly pissed off. They had to fucking cut Diggs in the middle of the season because of how much this dude wouldn't even play. And I know he's a case, but Diggs is out here. Like it just, I think Diggs, dude, the social media posts when they fired him, most of the players like that shit, bro. Like this guy was not enjoyed in his last year. He was one of Garrett's boys. I bet none of these guys really even remember his time before.
Reports that Shoddy himself was very happy to have Eberflus out.
Shoddy, there was multiple times Shoddy was caught on camera not so happy with Flus during the season. So yeah, I mean it was pretty obvious that there was just.
And then obviously, you know, when they made the move of moving him up to the booth, that's always the you are fired, but we haven't fired you yet move.
Jerry wanted to make his last couple of weeks comfortable because you know he's going to get his money's worth that contract. He's like, I paid you for this, so you're gonna do it. At the same time, I'll be nice to you, and you can use the elevators only, and you don't have to interact with any of the fans.
Yeah, which it's really funny to me.
Players, and I don't need you on that field.
It was really funny the discourse around him being moved to the booth. Because you guys know I don't shit on ESPN's entire NFL team, like all their talking heads on the NFL. I'll gladly shit on them, right? And when they got moved, it was like a pseudo demotion, and nobody really talked about that part. They were like, "Hey man, what are you doing leaving the field? That's just a cowardly thing." Of course, that's like a Rex Ryan talking point. And then I just looked at the TV at work as they're replaying the segment, and I just thought to myself, "You do know the best defensive, one of the top 3 defensive coordinators in the league operates from the booth, right, Rex Ryan? Not that you would know.
It's not about operating the booth being bad. It's when they move you there. It's the big.
It was
that part wasn't brought up. That wasn't brought up. It was just being in the booth bad is what he was saying with his monkey brain.
Yeah, they were just talking to talk.
Or I mean, next Cowboys defense coordinator Rex Ryan.
God,
oh my God,
that's gonna be a bad defense.
No, he tried to get the head coaching job. No,
he did.
I think he tried to talk about.
No, maybe he was part of some kind of weird package with Dion. I think this might have been the rumors. I don't remember exactly.
Rex Ryan's awesome.
Rex Ryan,
flipping guy.
You put Rex Ryan back on the sidelines in 2026. His defenses are getting shredded. All right, that man does not know how to evolve.
I'm worried with him. It'll be fun. I mean, honestly, I am looking with interest to if Brian Flores is passed over. Seriously though, if he's passed over,
he wants to take a pay cut to go to a worse roster.
Well, that's the question I have. Right? Because that would be the only real way I think you could actually sell the fan. That would be the fan GM version of it. Is we use Cowboy money and Cowboy resources to just go get the best, overpay for the best guy. Obviously, you'll hear rhetoric that sounds like this, but actions that never ever align with this.
And then you're also inviting.
I don't believe lateral moves are allowed.
You're also inviting a guy who is a head coach candidate to come in and be
and that's
really
the biggest thing is the Vikings and the Cowboys might be metaphorically fighting over a guy who's the head coach of another team already, basically.
I don't think anyone's just because what? Oh my God, it's not even a thing. It's not a real thing. It's not a story. It's not happening. One person speculated about it out of nowhere.
I'm telling you, you have to put the heat on. You have to put the heat on.
No reason for the Vikings to be concerned unless he gets, obviously gets a head coaching job. He's not going to go take a lateral move anywhere else.
Point. You're looking at this as
also he's not allowed to take a lateral move. If he's under contract,
if he lets him, if they let him,
you would have to give up compensation to allow that.
Yeah. Is he still under contract?
Yeah,
I believe so.
No, he needs to be under. a new contract.
If anything, listen, and I'm glad you brought this up. If there's anybody who I think would be a stylistic perfect fit, right? It's him on the Ravens. Even though I'm not in favor of defensive coaches getting hired, he just feels like just so right. Just to be the Ravens next.
Well, I mean, yeah, you expect to see a Ravens defense destroying a quarterback every single play, and that's
because they already have the quarterback in place. You just go find yourself a competent coordinator. I know those are hard to come by, but if you can just find somebody who's competent enough, like, hey, listen, we're not doing too much. Lamar, you just keep playing Superman, and this defense is gonna just go and commit.
We'll actually
absolute
play Derrick
crimes.
Henry in the fourth quarter now.
But yeah, I think Brian Flores would be an amazing head coach for the Ravens, and he'll have a quarterback. He'll have a quarterback that he doesn't want to absolutely just throw into the sun.
But even Fitzpatrick apparently didn't like him a whole lot because he just went on this big long rant, basically calling him a dictator. So I don't know. Maybe Flores needed to chill out, and hopefully he learned that.
We will see, man. This whole entire journey post Miami has probably taught him to maybe not fuck with the players so much.
And maybe just getting out of that mess of an organization, has been able to clear his head a little bit.
Yeah. Back to some of the coordinator firings as well. The Detroit Lions have fired their offensive coordinator, John Morton, who was hired to replace Ben Johnson. And if there's one thing that we've seen, that was going to be probably the hardest coordinator to replace from this past hiring cycle. And we saw it. The Lions went 9-8. They did struggle at times on offense. They, dealing with injuries as well up and down the roster, like most teams. But geez, like that was an enviable task. And now they are on the search for a new offensive coordinator as well.
It is funny to think that the Detroit Lions finished 9-8 and we're like, not good enough.
They would have ran away with the NFC South, that's for sure.
They would have won it by a game.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the NFC South, guys, one last thing on the news notes part. Kirk Cousins has reworked his deal, essentially making it easier for them to move him or just for both sides to be able to move on from one another. So the restructure includes reducing his salary for this coming season from a non-guaranteed $35 million to just $2.1 million, which is pretty crazy. And we'll see what happens with Kirk Cousins. I imagine he will be one of the top QBs on the free agent market if they decide to move away from him. Or they'll just keep him on for insurance because Michael Penix does have knees made of glass. So yeah, there is that out there. Michael Penis out there swirling around. We'll see. But yeah, some more news though. So like we said, or like I mentioned earlier, there's offensive coordinators that are fired as part of the firing of other staffs, and one of them is Todd Monken. Guys, this is a name to look out for any of these quarterback needy teams that need an offensive coordinator that knows what they're doing, or potentially the Eagles' next offensive coordinator. As I'm hoping, because I need some hope. I need some hope out there that I'm not going to have an actual full-blown jackass running the offense again. But yeah, that's it for the news and notes for the NFL Week 18 season. We will come back to you guys with some information about head coaching hirings. We should get something over the weekend, possibly, and we'll just dissect all that as
John Harbaugh, the next Eagles head coach.
God no, please.
What if you could get John and Jim?
What's John gonna do? He's only ever been a special teams coach.
Yeah,
he's only ever coached special teams, and I'm okay.
Minister of Culture.
Just Minister of Culture.
You'll all be wearing polos and slacks in no time.
God no. I wouldn't mind Jim though. He's just crazy enough to make it all work. Okay. Let's move on to the picks, shall we, Patrick? I think this is where you come in and help us see how the season ended for us. The week 18 season, or the week 18 week, the results
That
of that,
was.
the result of the entire year.
Yeah,
We
this is
already
gonna
know
be-
who won. We already know
gonna be
who won.
more of
but-
an entire year type thing versus the last week because there wasn't really just a whole lot of changes there. So that's a normal drum roll. So
Drum roll, please. Who
Final.
won? It was Jesus.
Jesus wins. You see,
Jesus not only beat us as a show, he beat us all individually. So
C's there in second. I got third, and Bethke in some kind of bear outfit, I think.
It was
Got
it was the walrus Guguju.
got fourth. Oh, it is a
Uh,
walrus. Sorry. It was funny. Felt like an actual creep having to like parse through your wife's Instagram to try to find a picture of you to use for that.
I respect it. That was a good one. I think that was an excellent choice.
Yeah, I really just wanted to use that. The Smash
No, you
Bros.
did
graphic.
great. You did the great Smash Bros. Graphic.
Yeah, but so, oh crap.
yeah,
I
Jesus won. And how much did he win by? I think he
Need a
won.
fun one for that, but it's not on here. So Jesus finished the year 169, 103 and 1, a 619 win percentage. Second place, 5 behind. C's wins 164 to 108 to 1. 601 percentage. You kept it above 600.
I really shit the bed in week 18.
What'd you go?
7-9.
Oh yeah. I would end up finishing third, 159, 5 back of C's, 159, 113 and 1 at a 582 clip. And then Bethke would finish fourth, 7 behind me at 152, 120 and 1.
Close.
Still above 500 though.
I was just a game away from winning the whole thing.
I did take a wild stab in the last week to try to pass C's, which ended up working out in my favor, but I didn't quite catch up. Including like picking Cleveland to win, and that worked out. Vegas was another one that shouldn't have worked out and did. A few of those. Week 18 is so weird, you know. You never know who's going to really bring
No,
it.
last week it felt like the first time I was like, all right, I actually don't know what the fuck to do here.
Because
Like,
not
I'm like,
everyone's going to be
fuck.
trying their absolute hardest. Some
And I don't know
people are
who's
rosters.
where in the standings. I don't know
Some
who's
people are
injured
playing.
right now.
Some people are
Like,
playing
bro.
for incentives. Some people are
Yeah.
playing for a new
like-
contract.
The Giants had the second overall pick and blew it.
Yeah,
But
not-
winning
No,
a
they
game?
did not. I thought I commend the Giants on a program building win.
I love hearing someone talk about how the momentum is going to carry into next year.
Oh,
That's
it
one
is.
of
No,
my
trust me,
absolute
Giants. You
favorites.
did the right thing. You did.
Dude,
excellent.
you know what's so funny?
Their
So-
brand new head coach is going to be like, "Hey, the 11 of you who were here in Week 18, you remember winning that game?"
In Skull Vikings, that's the other excellent showing. Both teams here
that was
couldn't,
that was
couldn't
a
ask
great,
for any more.
So,
that was a
fellas,
great way to end the season with Max Brosmer, and just a wild season we've had. It was great to beat Green Bay to wrap it up.
so fellas, you guys know
Yes,
how I love to shit on the
Be
Giants.
complicit.
So I believe they've had 8 wins in the last 2 seasons. Half their wins have come in week 17 and 18. Each year.
Those are inefficient seasons.
Buddy, the way that they just blow their draft positioning for some meaningless culture wins is so great.
No, not meaningless. This is big. Culture's never been better.
Never been better. In
I did also want to highlight some fun stats in here. So C's this year, you were the best at picking games involving the Cardinals and the Patriots. At an
Why them?
824
clip.
Because you really truly hated one, and then I guess you just were like, yeah, I guess the Patriots are good now, and you just rode with it.
So
and never
yeah,
wavered.
every single time that you did not pick the Cardinals to win, you were right, which was 11 of them. And then New England, you picked them to win 13 times, and they won 12 of those. So that'll do it for you. And then Bethke's best, same clip, but this was Las Vegas and the Jets.
This one was basically me being like, if I'm going to do shticks, I have to at least accept that a couple of these teams are fucking awful.
Yeah. So again, you were perfect at picking against the Raiders, and then with the Jets, you only picked them twice, and you split those, but you were right 13 times that they were going to lose.
That's beautiful.
And then I also with the Patriots, that was my only one at that clip. Was there anything interesting on that? I picked them to win 15 times, and they got 13 of them. So that's pretty much where that comes in.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then let's look at our absolute worst. The lowest of all of our is me with the Chargers for some reason.
You really don't like the Chargers.
Well, every time I thought they were going to lose, they won. And I picked them to win 10 times, and they lost 6 of them. So I just don't know. I just don't know what they are, I guess.
Which is kind of the story of the Chargers. Are they a playoff? They're a playoff team.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are playing too.
Bethke, you had some trouble figuring out Detroit this year, finishing with a 353 percentage of accuracy.
Well, because they probably failed me twice against Green Bay, and then I might have still been picking the Cowboys by then. I don't know.
You were, yeah. I mean, it's
at
just,
some
you're
point.
just barely below 500, both picking for and against them. Really not that bad. Just that happens to be your lowest.
But they didn't beat the Packers this year, right?
I don't know.
I don't think they did. I think they fucked me both times.
That
They're
would
bitches.
check out with the way you pick. And then Caesar, you had some interesting struggles with Carolina.
But you're their biggest
It's so-
fan.
It's so funny because I was just hyping them up.
You picked them to win 9 times, lose 8 times.
So technically, he was right. He just didn't know
All the
exactly.
wrong games. No, yeah, you got 3 right when you picked them to win, and 3 right when you picked them to lose.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
And then
That's
just
fantastic.
overall, our kind of best picks here, since there's so many ties, it kind of has to extend a little bit beyond 10.
Technically, that means I'm a double winner.
Look, you did great
I
on
got-
the top there. I only have a couple. You might be wondering, how did Bethke finish last? Especially considering we know that I have the worst percentage. Let's see here. Vegas, at least me and C's and Bethke were pretty good with. New England, obviously, me and C's were good with. Those
Also,
were
just
I was
admitting
great at
Tennessee
picking the
sucks.
Giants.
C's
so
and
great.
Bethke both were good at picking Tennessee games this year.
And then you guys kept trying to convince me Jacksonville sucked, and I was like, no, they seem to win a lot, so I'm just gonna keep picking them.
Let me see. I feel like I liked them all year. Maybe I didn't trust them in their matchups. I picked Jacksonville to win 11 times.
How was I with Jacksonville? Probably not. Good.
Jeez. Jacks. Sorry. You picked them to win 10 times. They won 8 of those. You picked them to lose 7 times, and they won 2. Or sorry, they won 5 of those.
All right.
And then our bottom of the bottoms. Again, still trying to figure out how I have a higher percentage than Bethke here. Because basically, I think what happens is there's like a mid tier that you were just basically like you were running the lower mid tier numbers.
Yeah, I see. Interesting.
Well, let's see. I couldn't figure out
beyond
the
this
Panthers.
beyond this graphic, the next 5 are yours at 471, and then you have a ton at 529.
You were awful at picking the Eagles, Patrick. Just absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, I couldn't figure them out either. I thought they were better more often than they were. I think. Let's see. What did I say about them?
Atlanta, I probably thought was better, and I thought they just
I
had a
picked
bad
the Eagles
start.
to win 12 games, and they won 6 of them. And I picked them to lose 5 games, and they won all 5.
Carolina makes sense. Okay, so the whole NFC South fucked me the most.
And
I just
yes.
couldn't figure it out.
And they fucked themselves.
Yes.
I couldn't crack the code. And then the Cincy, that one, I killed myself on the bit because I kept trying to pretend like Joe Burrow was going to come back and win them.
Yeah, and
I couldn't figure out Dallas, and I couldn't figure out Pittsburgh at all.
with Tampa, they seemed like they were good at the beginning of the year. Baker might have been MVP, and then it just
Yeah.
cratered.
the
And
wheels
that's
fell
how
off.
they kept their coach,
It's a long season. It's 35 weeks long.
which I forgot to mention when we were talking coaches. I think that's outside of Harbaugh being fired. The other big one seemed to be the Bucks just kind of quietly kept Todd Bowles.
Todd
Yeah,
Bowles.
I mean, I think in his defense,
I don't know that it's a bad
they
move.
were
It's just, I think
they were-
most people expected him to be gone.
Yeah, they're drastically injured on the offense. You know, you're missing both tackles.
All the
All
wide
three
receivers.
receivers at some point were gone. I mean, Emeka Buka was the fourth receiver coming into the year, and then just stepped up and then kind of fell off a cliff at the end.
So just last little bit here. See if anyone.
Are you able to? I know you didn't make a graphic for it, but what was Jesus's best picks and worst?
Oh gosh. How fast can I recreate this with all of his information? Might not.
Oh, I didn't know if you. I thought you had already had one. Never mind.
No, I wasn't.
You don't have it. It's fine.
Stats, and I probably should have.
No, it's all good.
I'll share that with you. I'll share that with y'all privately. I'll make that
That's
tonight.
Word.
All
right.
yeah, one last check, just because I want to look at it one more time because I had fun.
Congratulations, Jesus. You know more ball than Pass the Rock.
I'll send you guys the alternate pictures that I was thinking about using for you on there. As I'm digging through, I'm like digging through all of your social media that I have access to, which is only Instagram. So,
well, I think you did a great job.
Who hasn't uploaded a picture since like 2012? Bethke doesn't even exist. I gotta watch his wife's reels.
That's good. Now, for the audience at home, I have talked to Jesus. I've confirmed he will be on the show, and he's going to take the time to brag, as I told him he would have all the time he wants to brag about how much better he is at this than we were.
He didn't even pick some games this year. There was a week where he just didn't pick like 4 games, and he still
won, man. To
be fair, you missed 2 or 3 of those also by not picking, right? At least one.
Yeah, well, on one of them, I was like,
actually,
hey, man.
That's what happened to me, dude. I just didn't pick a couple sometimes.
That
didn't help.
Yeah, you put 3 games, or you just put on the thing basketball.
Yeah, dude. I'm not watching the NFL on Christmas Day, dude.
I know,
have some fucking respect for tradition.
To fix my numbers, I had to go back in and fill in as if y'all picked the wrong teams, which also kind of messes with some of your numbers probably, but hey.
It's all right.
You didn't make the pick accurate.
That is true.
Well, it was accurate. Basketball was on.
It doesn't affect your numbers in this game.
Yeah.
Or I guess it does, just negatively. But yeah, that is the Pass the Rock picks. I think we're still doing the whole off-season award thing that might
So, look, I didn't even cut any of these into like graphics because we did really, really poorly on predicting the futures. Bethke did pretty good at picking division winners. He got 3 division winners correct in the Eagles, Steelers, and Jaguars. And C's got 1 division winner correct in the Eagles, and me and Jesus didn't get a single one correct.
That's crazy.
As far as awards goes, I think only the Myles Garrett winning Defensive Player of the Year that you and that Bethke and Caesar did are going to play out.
And I almost, and this pisses me off, I almost got the point for the Eagles final record.
Yeah, you got close.
I was watching that, and then I looked at the picks thing, and I was like, "Man,
I was only 2 off on mine, and y'all gave me some shit when I wrote down 11-6. Although I think, to be fair, I wrote down 12-5 originally, and y'all talked me down from it. But
yeah, because we're like, man, you're starting a rookie quarterback.
We almost got there, man. By hook or by crook, we managed to win 9 games.
Yeah, for sure. The head coach of the year, that one was pathetic.
It's tough, man.
I picked Pete Carroll, right?
You picked Pete Carroll. I picked Aaron Glenn.
2 people that got fired were picked by you 2.
Hey, Aiden Hutchinson could still win comeback player of the year, by the way.
I looked at the odds, and Lawrence could technically still win too, but their odds were so low. I can't remember who was at the top, but
that's funny as hell.
Yeah, man. We didn't do as well this year as we did last year, for sure. Whereas although Bethke, I think did you improve your percentage? Nope, your percentage went down. Actually, quite a bit.
All of our percentages went down.
Yeah, last year I got 178 correct.
Last year I got 177.
I was 19 behind that, and C's was only 13 behind his last year. Bethke was 11 games behind. So actually, you had the least decrease, Bethke.
Nice.
But we were better at picking division winners, and our own records, I think, were a little bit closer. But
Yeah, I had 4 division winners last year. I got comeback player of the year. I also got team record right, I think.
Yeah.
So
I got you some points.
they
We were
got
also
me some points.
picking weird. We were picking every week separately if our team was going to win or not. We were doing a lot of weird stuff in there.
True.
But now, as far as picks goes, we're not going to necessarily do this live right now, but we will continue through the playoffs, going week by week. Maybe we can call them out when we get to those previews.
And speaking of which, let's just go ahead and transition to the previews because we are not doing all the lights this week. We're gonna save. I am bringing back all the lights for the playoffs. Just not that. Just not
Is
that.
that punch playing? I'm not hearing it.
Yeah, the punch comes in. It sounds like a Tom hit.
I don't hear anything. I might have my volume too low.
Yeah. Now, dear audience, there is no watch it, skip it, train wrecks in the playoffs. The whole idea is that you gotta watch it. You watch every game in the playoffs, except maybe whatever the Panthers play the Rams.
Interestingly enough, the Texans finally don't have the one potential skip it playoff, the Saturday 11 whatever.
Oh, yeah, the Saturday noon game.
I
Oh
think this is the
man,
first time they're not playing in that game, that they're in the playoffs.
they even made a tweet about it. That they're very self-aware. So that is a little funny little tidbit for them. Now we're gonna start from AFC and we'll move on to the NFC. We're gonna do a little bit of preview of each game. So the first game on the docket, I believe it is a Jacksonville Bills. Bills on the road against the 3-seeded Jaguars.
Duval.
Duval gets to host this game. Oh God, dude. It's so funny how they made fun of him for that, and then he goes on and gives them their best season in years.
Well, the last time a new head coach said some dumb shit, he ended up being pretty good too. So,
Which one was that?
Brian Kelly.
what?
I'm just throwing names out.
You say Brian Kelly.
Less thinking equals talent take over.
And Dan
There's gotta
Campbell
have been
was out there
somebody
talking
dumber
about
than
biting
that.
kneecaps.
Yeah, it's true. There was biting kneecaps, Dan.
Yeah, I guess the more awkward your press conference, the better your coach will be.
There's a trend.
There is a trend.
No,
Jags and
Cowboys-
Bills.
Every Cowboys press conference is awkward, and
Well, that's different, but it's because it's not the head coach that's awkward.
it's Dad and Junior.
Yeah.
Dan, well, you know,
Not even
pie.
Junior, actually. Sorry, the other one.
Look, what you don't understand is there's a pie. Okay,
Sorry, see, it's playoffs.
No,
Let's talk about
playoffs, right.
teams that are in the playoffs.
Let's talk about them.
no.
So
I went to search the playoff bracket, and I swear to God, I typed in Cowboys.
you
This is
can't
why they
escape
make
them.
video games, so you can get them in there.
Madden
Right.
won't even let you anymore.
Now, gentlemen, the Jacksonville Jaguars are home underdogs in this game, but it's not by a lot, right? They're 1.5-point underdogs, which is a little crazy to me considering the Jags have had a pretty good year. You could say by every measure that they've been just as good, if not as good, as the Buffalo Bills.
The billiards.
I think it's the Josh Allen buff.
It probably is the Josh Allen buff. Now, you look at the numbers between both quarterbacks, very, very similar. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has probably played the best year of his career. Josh Allen's had a pretty solid year, not the best one. Now, what I think this game is going to come down to, really, guys, is just can the Jacksonville Jaguars keep pace? Because that Buffalo Bills defense is really good. Now, I've heard a lot about this Jacksonville Jaguars defense. They're no slouch either. There's a reason they're 13-4, right? And so it's going to come down to can they keep up? Because Trevor Lawrence, we're going to see him in a real playoff situation for the first time in 3 seasons, I believe, since the last time the Jags made it to the playoffs. And listen, he's been up and down his entire career. He threw a lot of interceptions this season. He is kind of turnover prone, and he wasn't exactly the most accurate quarterback in the league this year. Still, gutty performances, still is able to really will his team at times. Does he live up to his draft billing? Does he live up to all the hype in the first round? I don't think so. I think the Bills win this game, fellas.
All right.
I think it's a close game.
I'm gonna keep riding the Jags. Do I have to write this down? Where is it?
I got you. I mean, you can if you
No,
want,
fuck
but
it.
I can
Fuck it.
put in for you.
Yeah.
We'll do
I would
live.
love for the Jags to pull off the upset. I just don't think that they will pull up the upset. But it is wild card weekend, right? Anything can happen. We've seen it before.
So 3 years ago, they played against. They beat
Was
the
it the
Chargers in the
Chargers?
divisional round. He did all right. 28.
Was it
to
the divisional round or the
47.
wild card round?
Wild card round? Sorry. Then the divisional round they lost to the Chiefs, and although he played a little better, he threw 4 picks in that wild card game, and they won because he also threw 4 touchdowns. That must have been a fun game.
I do remember that game coming down to the wire, or what it felt like coming down to the wire. Yeah. Speaking of the Chargers, that is the next game up.
I got the Jags winning also, just to round that out.
Bet. All right. And then we're going to look at the other side. The Chargers, the 7 seed, going on the road to the Patriots. Patriots are 3.5 point home favorites, which is really not a lot. If I think about it, that's pretty standard.
I think now
hold on.
I think the way they consider it now, that's basically a 1 point favorite.
On a neutral site.
Or home used to be 3 point favorite, but I think now they've lowered that down to like 1.5, 2.
Gotcha. This will be a real test for the Patriots. I think the Chargers are a solid team. I know they're not the healthiest coming into this game, but neither are the Patriots, right? Now, the one knock against the Patriots all year long has been the fact that their schedule was weak. It was easy pickings, right? In the couple of the games that they had against winning teams, I don't think they came out positive on the other end. They lost to the Steelers. They lost 1 to the Bills. And I forget who their third loss is. Oh, weirdly enough, they also lost 1 to the Raiders, and I believe it was week 1. So
Yeah.
that one's a weird one, but it's week 1. It's pretty much preseason. And then you look at their team. You look at that.
The most excusable loss in the NFL is week 1, I think.
Yeah, you look at that roster or that schedule, gentlemen. The Bills and the Steelers, I think, are the only teams that were above 500 on their entire schedule. Just only ones. So this will be one of their first real tests of the year. I think it's going to be a close game, and I am going to take the upset. I think the Chargers beat the Patriots at home. I think the Patriots are a little ahead of schedule, and they're going to pay for that this weekend. So, Patrick, you can put me down. I got the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh is going to have this team playing some very ugly, grimy, conservative football, and it's going to work to their favor. I think Drake May is going to ball out in his first playoff game. I just don't think it'll be enough, considering how that roster is constructed.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did pick New England, but now that I'm looking more into it, I wonder how New England's defense versus tight ends is, because Justin Herbert to Gadsden seems to be like a broken freaking combination. Man, I think I'm going to stick with New England, but that's a tough one. I like both those teams. And then Jacob has selected
What?
LA's other team.
Yeah, the other team. Right. Well,
All
the
right.
Rams are the other team, and then the Chargers are definitely the other team.
And then the Clippers are the other team.
No, actually, honestly, we may have to reevaluate. It might
Yeah,
be
'cause
Rams.
there's two teams that are obviously ahead, and that's Lakers and Dodgers.
No. It's the Cowboys, it's the Raiders, then it's the Rams, then
In
it's
LA.
the Chargers. Yes, correct.
Love that.
I'll give you Raiders.
And then we'll move on to the 4-5 seed. That is the Steelers against the Texans. The Texans are a road favorite by 3 point. They're a 3-point road favorite. Yeah, dog. This one is chalk. Okay. Have you seen this Houston Texans defense? They are killers. They are maulers. Aaron Rodgers has no shot. He's going to be thrown
He
into
might
the
not,
turf.
actually. I
This
wanted
is
to
going
do
to
the
be-
Aaron Rodgers bit, but then they're playing Houston, and I'm like, oh, you might get fucked up, son.
Yeah.
but
No, this
might
is
be a cool way
we've
to
all-
go out.
we've all fallen for the Houston in the playoff trap before, though. Let's see.
okay, but this
Yeah,
is a
but
different.
Ryan's
This
has
Houston's
got
defense
nasty
is disgusting.
motherfuckers on that team, bro.
Yeah, this is the nastiest defense the Texans, I think, have ever had in their franchise history. And you look at that Pittsburgh Steelers offense, and you're like, where's that offense supposed to come from? Their best players have been the running backs in the passing game. And I'll be damned if those Texans defenders let those guys get any sort of traction for prolonged amounts of drives and time in the game. Now, the Achilles heel for the Texans is the fact that offense is just disgustingly bad and inept. But
We'll get them
they're-
eventually, but not the first game.
yeah, they might get eliminated, but let me tell you, they'll go out swinging on the way down, and it won't be in this first game. The Texans absolutely shut out the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. I wouldn't be shocked if the Pittsburgh Steelers only put up like 2 field goals.
But what if that's enough?
I just don't think they will be. Just don't, because the Texans defense can also generate points. They can also generate points. So
No, we've all three here decided to go with Houston on this one.
yeah, that one is that was an easiest. That's probably the easiest pick of Wild Card Weekend. All right, fellas, let's go ahead and move.
No, I think we might be going up to the easiest pick of Wild Card Weekend.
Maybe. It's funny how the 4 and 5 matchups are probably the easiest ones to kind of predict. So that's where we're going to start, because the Panthers will host the LA Rams. The Rams are 10.5-point road favorites. That is a disgusting line, but this is the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Panthers did beat the Rams in the regular season, but things change in the playoffs. Some teams just turn it on and are razor focused and are just built for the moment. That's Matthew Stafford. That's Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. It is not Bryce Young, Henrico Duaudo. All right, Terry McMillan. Maybe one day you'll be up there if you get a better quarterback. But right now, it's not your time. It's not the Panthers' time. That's for sure. It's a nice story that they made it into the playoffs, despite the fact that they're 8-9, and some of their losses are just disgustingly bad. Matter of fact, gentlemen, this is how bad it is as a Panthers. Just for the Panthers, they have a worse point differential than the New York Giants. The New York Giants, who have a top 6 draft pick, they have a better point differential than the Panthers. Just lets you know what type of timing these Panthers have been on.
If you threw them in the NFC North, they would have finished dead last.
Oh, absolutely! You could throw them in a bunch of divisions; they'd finish dead last.
I don't know
But
how
the
many
NFC
divisions-
South.
I don't know how many divisions didn't have at least one other team under 500.
Yeah. Well, when a division has 3 teams finish under 500, and all 3 teams are tied for first, when one of them was eliminated from the playoffs weeks earlier, it just lets you know everything about the NFC South and the quality of opponent the Rams have. So even though the Rams did lose, I don't anticipate them losing this one because that was a weird game that they lost to the Rams, or they lost to the Panthers rather. So I think we're all taking the Rams in this game.
Yes, sir.
The Rams.
And then let's go to the other teams. You have. I'm just gonna go in order of the way this bracket's set up.
Yeah.
Done. You also have the Eagles and the Niners. Now that one's on the 11th. The 3 and the 6 seed. The Eagles are 4.5-point favorites. Now, I could go into this game. I could go real deep dive into this game. The Eagles are favorites. They are a healthy team. I believe they will have 20 of 22 opening day starters available for this game. And you contrast that with the 49ers, who are down to practice squad players on defense. We're talking about guys that they called up got hurt, and then they had to go call up other guys to replace those guys. That's how bad it is on defense for the San Francisco 49ers. Their offense has been doing the heavy workload. And even then, we saw something of an Achilles heel for this 49ers offense and defense. And that is, if you punch them in the mouth, if you play physical with them, they will crumble because they just don't have enough bodies to get in and out and keep everybody fresh. We saw that disgusting game against the some of us saw that disgusting game against the Seattle Seahawks, where the Seattle Seahawks defense was just punching this team in the mouth and held them to just 3 points. And if the Seahawks had any sort of like cohesion on offense with Sam Darnold and that run game, that Seahawks team probably should have put up like 26 on them. If we're being honest. So I'm looking at this Niners team. There's a chance Trent Williams plays. There's a chance Ricky Pearsall plays. And there's a chance that doesn't matter because they are going up against a Super Bowl caliber defense. Now, here is where it is absolutely possible for them to win, right? This defense for the Eagles is not perfect by any means. You can get them in blown coverages, especially if you attack a Dory Jackson or if you go up against any other safeties like Marcus Epps, who is replacing multiple people actually at safety. So you can attack those guys and possibly, get some free points. Now can the Philadelphia Eagles offense put up any fucking points? We have seen them struggle all year long to sustain drives and look like they have a competent offensive game plan. So will they be able to finally have a game plan, have a game where they actually look like a competently ran offense? The answer is I don't fucking know. Probably not. And it may not even matter because they're just so much more talented than the San Francisco 49ers. That talent might just bail this team out.
But wait.
They have no business getting bailed out, but they probably will get bailed out in this instance.
Oh, never mind.
So I will begrudgingly take the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to hate every fucking minute of this game because I'm just going to be watching an actually well-run offense in the 49ers that's just not as talented as the Eagles and like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. Great. I'm sure it would be nice to have one of those offensive minds. And yeah. Anyway,
Bethke's having some kind of anti-Sophie's choice on this one, like I'm going to have on the next one.
What, with the Eagles?
How do you pick between the two teams you hate?
I could give a shit who wins anything at this point.
Yeah.
Well, for the sake of the exercise, which one do you hate least, I guess?
Or which one do you think is going to win is really the question.
Yeah, the Eagles are going to win. They'll be fine. It's always overblown. It's always overblown for them. And then
49ers.
And then Green Bay can go fuck themselves still. I don't even know if it matters for the draft pick, but it's still fuck you.
It kind of does because if they get eliminated, then it just goes by their win-loss record. So they would be if they get eliminated against the Bears, they would have one of the worst picks.
Caleb Williams.
They only have everybody else in the playoffs.
They would need Carolina to win their game to pass them, but otherwise, I think they've got the second worst record, right?
I believe so. I mean, it's Steelers, Panthers, and Packers, the only ones that don't have double-digit wins. So,
I wish them a quick and painful demise.
Which might be possible. And we'll look into that. So you have Bears, Packers. This is round 3. I believe they split the season 1-1. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm taking the Bears. And the reason why, the Packers haven't won a game in a month. They just straight up haven't won a game in a month. Now, the Bears did have an ugly end to the season.
A Vikings team that decided to win 5 games in a row to end the season.
Right? Now, you look at the Bears. They didn't exactly end on a high note. They lost a shootout to the 49ers, and they lost an ugly, grimy game to the Lions to lose 2 in a row. But they did beat the Packers before they ended on a skid. They have some decent wins on their schedule. So that's
they're a good team. I just don't think there's any great teams in the NFC right now.
Yeah. If anything, I feel like the Bears are a one and done playoff team, depending who they play in the next round. So that said, I think Caleb Williams has a solid game against the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers have too many injuries on defense, just to be able to sustain themselves. We'll see what happens. I believe Jordan Love should be healthy to play this game. So no
Haven't
Malik
heard
Willis.
anything otherwise.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything otherwise. It'll be interesting to see if Malik Willis will be available as the backup. Because if he's not, then it's Clayton Tune. And if Jordan Love has to leave the game, that's wraps.
I think they cut Tune and brought someone else in.
Interesting. That's
might
an
be wrong.
interesting
One
move.
sec.
It's still not a good sign if anybody has to replace Jordan Love other than Malik Willis.
1 second. Oh my god. Sort by new. I thought I read that.
Maybe it was like considered. I don't know.
But 1 second. It won't take too much longer. Just gotta scroll through.
He's gotta scroll
Just
through
some other things here. Nope, that's not it. There's probably a better way to do this. So I'm rooting for martial law so that no one can win this game. I think I need the state of Minnesota to explode in civil war so that neither Green Bay or Chicago can win an NFL playoff game.
Brother, you're so much closer to that happening than you think.
No, I'll probably have to pick Chicago just because I think they're healthier.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think healthy bodies will win you the first round of the wild card.
But
And then we'll see what
anytime you have to play a team 3 times, lots of stuff can happen.
They say
Oh, here
that,
we
but
go.
I think
Yeah,
history
okay.
shows that
Clayton Tune released. Desmond Ritter signed to the active roster from the practice squad.
that's not much of an upgrade. But yeah, there you go. So,
But they also
those are
got
our
Trayvon Diggs.
huh?
So they also
They
got
did pick
Trayvon
up
Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs. They
If he
picked
gets
up a
one
guy who gets
pick,
burned
it's
quite
worth it.
easily.
Trayvon Diggs.
He'll give up 500 yards, but if he gets one pick, it could be worth it if it's at the right time.
And hey, I'm sure Caleb Williams will give him a chance. But yeah, thank you guys for giving us a chance to talk about the playoffs. That concludes the CTE segment. We'll be back next week with some reactions to the wild card round, previewing the divisional round, and I'll even bring back all of the lights for you guys.
It's got to be a way for me to figure it
Let
out.
it, Patrick, because I got nothing else in the tank.
All right, guys. Thanks. Hope you had a happy and safe new year, and we look forward to bringing you more content in 2026 in good content out. Me forgetting to make good content.
Wasting your time, drinking that wine, smoking that smoke, doing that coke, dealing that dope, giving up hope.